into the latest pandemic developments with tonight's Bream Team panel. Fox News contributors Dr. Marty Makary and Jason Chafe. It's great to see both of you back.
Glad to be here.
All right, I want to ask you, Dr. Marty, I want to start with you about a couple of things. We're hearing increasingly from a number of college students, grad students, who many of them have been vaccinated and or they've had COVID, and yet if they don't get booster shots now, in the wake of what we know is waning immunity with a lot of these shots, and you can explain that technically for us, they're going to lose their ability to continue their education. Here's a Stanford PhD candidate we talked to a couple days ago.
So Stanford put this enrollment hold on anyone who is not boosted, even if they are fully vaccinated, and even if they got natural immunity. So in my case, I got a mild case of COVID back in January, and for them that counts like nothing.
Well, and Doctor, he said that he was very worried about the growing gathering information about myocarditis, especially in men of his age, younger men. What would you say to that student into the university?
Well, unfortunately, many of these universities are still chasing a COVID-0 strategy, even though hospitals are essentially empty of any COVID-ill patients at this point. I don't blame this student. 1 in 1,800 young males will develop myocarditis, and a study 2 weeks ago showed that on MRIs 3 to 8 months after that myocarditis, there were still marked heart abnormalities. We don't know what that inflammation is going to do long term. The scar tissue could affect conduction, and most kids have had COVID. 95% of Americans over 12 have antibodies, according to a recent study. And to deny natural immunity by the director of the CDC and NIH, that would be like the head of NASA denying that the moon exists.
Well, Jason, give you a chance to comment on this before we go to our next topic. But, you know, there are those who are saying the next wave is coming. Others saying, listen, it's endemic. We will continue to have spikes of cases and seasonality. But there are those who say they're not going to back off full restrictions and at least the ability to bring things back should they feel necessary.
Well, at this point, I think people can make their own individual decisions in conjunction with their doctors. The idea that the government continues to make mandate, punish some, reward others is just ridiculous. And mask mandates for 2-year-olds, it does not make sense. Long ago, we gave up on the science and let political science and political decisions by political leaders far outweigh the real science, and it's a shame.
All right, I want to ask you guys, too, about another health-related issue. This one's about abortion. Oklahoma has passed a law to outlaw many abortions, if not all of them there. And on the flip side, at the same time, states all doing their own thing. We've got Colorado now with under the headline for National Review. It says the most radical abortion law in the nation. Colorado's new law doesn't merely allow abortion of viable babies for any reason until crowning. It makes eugenic arguments about the social, moral, and economic benefits of not having children, as if any law or regulation compels anyone to do so. Doctor, I'll just ask this from the standpoint of the U.S. is in a very small group of countries that allow something this late in a pregnancy.
Look, I don't understand the termination of a life in a third term of a pregnancy. You'll see the statistics often manipulated because they'll say that a certain percent of Americans are against or for abortion. You look at a third term of pregnancy, the vast majority of Americans, there's a broad consensus that that's inappropriate.
Jason, what do you make about all the efforts at the states levels as we wait now on the Supreme Court's decision that could impact all of this?
Well, look, I believe that life starts at conception, and that if you're taking a life, that just should not happen, particularly as we see the science develop and the imaging that you can see here, and the fact that these infants, not yet, technically born, but they can live outside the womb. I just think you're killing these kids, and I think it's disgusting. Infanticide and these other things that some of these people believe in, I just can't even relate because I just believe in life.
Well, there are now several states in the U.S. and in D.C. as well that allow things very, very late into pregnancy. Check it out. It's hard to believe, but it's true. Okay, so I want to ask you, Jason, quickly before we let you guys go, because of your work with the Oversight Committee, Just the News is reporting this on the Durham headline on a new filing, a motion that reveals some evidence. It says in a bombshell court filing late Monday night, Durham for the first time suggested Hillary Clinton's campaign, her researchers and others formed a, quote, joint venture or conspiracy for the purpose of weaving the collusion story to harm Trump's election chances and then the start of his presidency. These parties acted as joint venturers and therefore should be considered as co-conspirators, he wrote. Quick final comment from you on that, Jason.
Well, what he's signaling is that it goes far further than those that have been charged, like Mr. Sussman. I think those might include, maybe, Mark Elias, others at Perkins Coie, certainly the DCCC, the DNC, Hillary Clinton, and the Russians that they engaged. Millions of dollars flowed overseas to Russians, by the way, that was done in collusion to take down Donald Trump. And that's the strongest statement we've heard yet from the prosecutor in this case, Mr. Durham.
Yeah, and for people all over the political spectrum who've been watching and wondering what he's up to, it seems we're getting more and more information that will lead us closer to that by the day. Gentlemen, thank you both for being with us. Good to see you.
Thank
Thanks.
you.